Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the second day of October. Now, what does that mean? October means we're in the fall. And the fall means we're back in New York Knicks Nation season, right? This is the time. So I'm excited about it. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field. I hope your families is all healthy and safe, and you guys had good weekends. Enjoyed the rest that you had this weekend. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives, and those that pick up garbage for us to keep places clean and disease free, and those also that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the unfortunate victims that are teenagers and children of child molestation and pedophilia. And those also who are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things, those who profit from these things, and the perverts that create this industry. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000. The numbers are growing. It's about 580-something thousand right now. Men, women, and children that are homeless in the United States of America, living on the streets. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So this weekend, as we thought, we were under the assumption that the Jrue Holiday situation would be resolved quickly, as he's a very hot commodity. He wasn't going to be staying with Portland, which is a rebuilding team, and he was going to go to a contender. And there was a lot of discussion in Knicks Nation during the past week since the deal went down with Dame Lillard to Milwaukee about Jrue Holiday, and including on my channel, lots of discussion, strong opinions one way and the other about Jrue Holiday. Well, it's been solved because he is now a Boston Celtic. Now, looking at the Celtics, they have really changed themselves. When you're looking at it, okay, so they had Al Horford, Robert Williams III, they had Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and of course Jason Tatum. Really good team. They had, at the time, they had a bench that included Peyton Pritchard, but Peyton Pritchard wasn't like a major piece on the bench. But their bench, they had, I'm going to just get the exact names here because there's one guy whose name I can't remember right now, but he's a very important piece of their bench. Their bench included last year, let's see, they had Grant Williams. That's who I'm thinking about. They had Grant Williams coming off their bench last year. They had Grant Williams coming off their bench. They had also Malcolm Brogdon, of course, the sixth man of the year, coming off their bench last year. They, at different times, had different players, but those were the main. And then, of course, they had Peyton Pritchard, he didn't play a big role. Sam Hauser played a good, Mike Muscala. But the big eight for them was Tatum, Brown, Smart, Horford, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. That was their main eight pieces. They had, ancillary pieces, but again, like most teams, they went 8 or 9 deep. Most of y'all don't understand that, keep whining about Tibbs, but that's generally what they had last year. Now, that team went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, lost to Miami. The thing is that they have restructured this team so that they have now, instead of Marcus Smart, they have Jrue Holiday. And instead of, Robert Williams III, they have Kristaps Porzingis. Okay. So they're now, and they lost both Grant Williams. They lost him and Malcolm Brogdon. And they're expecting this year Peyton Pritchard to step up and take the place of Brogdon, along with Derek White. Now, Derek White becomes a starter instead of Marcus Smart. He becomes a starter along with Jrue Holiday. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think they have changed the shape of their team, but I don't see much difference in the final result. To be quite honest with you, I don't see much difference. So Jrue Holiday takes the place of Marcus Smart. So you're taking Marcus Smart. Now, Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year in 2021-22, 3-time All-NBA defense, And he has started, it took him a while. It took him about 6 seasons, maybe 17, but he started becoming a very important piece in terms of an ancillary scorer, like a fifth piece, for the scorer. He used to be able to not be able to hit the broadside of a barn, but he started in the last, I say, 3 or 4 seasons starting to score. So he really solid piece at your point guard. And you now traded him for Jrue Holiday, who's also a really solid piece at your point guard. Now, Jrue Holiday is really good defensively. Obviously, he was also all NBA defense, but he's better offensively. He's an 18-point per game scorer. So you upgraded, slightly, but you lost a heart and soul in Marcus Smart. In Robert Williams III, they had a shot blocking, rim protecting dude on a high level out of the University of Texas. Texas seems to produce them type of dudes. Mo Bamba. You have Mo Bamba, you got Jared Allen, you got Jericho Sims. They seem to produce those type of dudes. Kai Jones. So you had Robert Williams III joining that tradition. And now he's out. And you're dependent on Al Horford at 37. I don't know. This is the thing, yo. As far as the Knicks, I think us in Knicks Nation understand. The Knicks seem to be kryptonite to Boston. I don't know what it is. Every team has their kryptonite. For Boston, it's New York. Okay? New York is the kryptonite. Last year, and we found out why, Toronto was New York kryptonite, right? And we found out why. And the NBA is investigating that. But we were Boston's kryptonite. You can go into Boston Garden and win. Last year, we didn't even have Jalen Brunson for that game. And ITQ went in there and did work. Some of the best games RJ has ever had been against Boston. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not worried about Boston. If I'm New York, okay, they upgraded. Honestly, I'd rather him go there. If Jrue Holiday would have replaced Harden in Philly, I think that would be more of a concern. I think that would be more of a concern for me, as a Knicks fan. But going to Boston and then them losing Marcus Smart, Robert Williams III, and Malcolm Brogdon, yo, I ain't worried about Boston. Nor should we be. Okay? Nor should we be. Right now, as I mentioned yesterday in the pod, the Knicks, really and truly, I'll be honest, to me, they're the most solid team in the East right now in terms of continuity, in terms of organizational structure, not changing their coaches like Philly did, like Milwaukee did. Boston just changed theirs a year ago and got a young coach, not reorganizing their whole team. The Knicks are solid. Okay, I wouldn't sleep on New York, and then now you just added to that mix with Dante DiVincenzo. I'm liking our chances, yo. I'm just telling you, I'm liking our chances. I'm liking our chances in the East. I've been saying, let me just say it now, beginning of the season, 50 wins at least for New York, at least top 5 in the East. And a shot to win more than 50, good shot to win more than 50, and I'm being conservative, as I usually try to be, and a good shot at top 3 in the East. A good shot at top 3 in the East. If the Knicks start to click earlier than usual, which I'm not going to put all the weight on that, but if they did, and I wouldn't be surprised because of the continuity, if they started to click earlier than they usually do, which is usually the Knicks start to click after 30 games, if they started to click like that earlier, they could definitely be top 3 in the East. They definitely can, okay? As far as who's the top team, I know everybody's all hyped about Milwaukee and Boston, but y'all got to understand 2 things. Number one, everybody trips when something's new. Everybody does. Especially in the NBA. They trip when something's new. Oh my God, this is the newest thing. Okay, so you got Dame and Giannis, and you got Jrue added to Brown and Tatum. Okay, great. But you got to play 82 games, y'all. You got to play 82 games. And let me tell you something else that a lot of people ain't going to tell you. See, because this is what happened, y'all. In the NBA, they want to sell tickets. They want to sell pay-per-view, NBA.com. They want to sell that. Okay? So what they do? It's a star-driven league. So they're going to hype Jrue Holiday to Boston, Dame Dollar to Milwaukee. They're going to hype it. But you got to look at it critically. Let me tell you something. Milwaukee better get a defensive ace. They better go hire somebody. They better ask the Knicks for Deuce. Get something. Because Dame can't guard his shadow. Can't nobody guard him, but he can't guard nobody either. And let me tell you, in that kind of equation, ask Mike D'Antoni, you ain't winning no championship. No, you ain't. Okay? So, I'm not worried about Milwaukee either. Now, Boston got defense. They do. They got tight defense. I mean, really, when you look at it, I mean, Kristaps Porzingis is their weakest defender because he don't have the lateral movement, but he's 7'3" with a 7'5" wingspan. So he's a great help defender. I always thought that. Didn't think he was that much of an on-ball defender because he's the lack of mobility, but he is a great help defender. Okay, and with Al Horford, 37 or whatever, he could play some defense. And then, of course, you got the other three, Jrue, Brown, Tatum, they could play defense. But their problem is the Knicks hold kryptonite in their pocket. They better hope they overcome New York's kryptonite because New York's been kryptonite. I don't know what happens, but all of a sudden, IQ, RJ, they start getting lit up when they see green. So I'm not worried about Boston. They got to overcome the Knicks. Okay? More concerned with Cleveland and Philly. Quiet as kept with all the drama in Philly. Most of them cats been playing together 3 or 4 seasons. Not even talking about Harden. Talking about the rest of them. And they all good. Even without Harden. Okay? And then, of course, with Cleveland, this is their second year with Donovan Mitchell. They still got a defensive problem. But they just added Max Strus to Isaac Okoro. They're gonna try their best. See, Max Strus is a great defender, so is Isaac Okoro. Of course, Strus is the better 3-point shooter. But defensively, they still, as long as they got Garland and Mitchell, they're going to be dynamic. Offensively, there is no doubt. But as we saw in the playoffs last year, they can't guard anybody. Okay? They can't. So, you especially at the point of attack, if you cannot get point of attack stops in the NBA, you're going to lose. You'll win a lot of games with talent. But when it comes to playoffs, when the best 16 teams are in the playoffs, okay? You're going to get exploited over 6 or 7 games. You're going to get exploited. And that's what happened with the Knicks. In 5 games, gentlemen sweep, was it 4-1? All right. See, so they have to solve that problem. But the continuity, you can't deny it. They got solid continuity. And to me, Cleveland, what scares me about Cleveland the most is the growth of Evan Mobley. I liked Mobley coming out of USC. To me, he's all that. He's that dude. And he's like a leopard that's a baby cub becoming a grown leopard. And when he becomes grown, we're all going to have a problem. Okay? Because that's how good this cat is, in my view. He can shoot the 3. He can rebound. He can defend. He can handle the rock. And he's like 7 feet tall. This guy's a nightmare. He's what everybody wants when they're looking at a Wembanyama or when they're looking at a Chet Holmgren. Okay? But he obviously has proved he can play in the league over the long haul of the season. See, them other cats, when you come like a Wembanyama or a Chet Holmgren or whoever like that that's tall, lanky like that, and they got all kind of guard-like skills, everybody likes to hype them. But you know what? It's an 82-game season. And if you too light in the behind, you ain't going to make it. You're going to have a problem. Okay, if it's an 82-game season, this ain't no college season. See, Chet couldn't make it. I don't know. I don't even think he made it through 50 games. Let's see if he can play 50 games this year before we start talking about him. See, Wembanyama, it's going to take him at least 2-3 seasons just to be able to march in the 82-game season. We're not talking about him playing 82, but 65. He's lighting the behind, man. Alex Pokuchevsky, I liked him too. Very highly skilled 7-footer. Young boy. Lighting the behind. Okay? But unlike them, Evan Mobley can play ball. He can play in the marathon season. He could play in the playoffs. Last year was his early thing. His introduction to the NBA in playoffs came by virtue of Mitch Rowe. And so, but his growth is going to be key. He's the thing to me. It's not Mitchell. It's not Garland. They're going to do what they do. It's Mobley. See? And Mobley, that when he starts turning in 2010s and 3 blocks, which he's very capable of doing, that's when Cleveland becomes a real problem. And so that's my concern is not with Cleveland, is him. And it's not if, it's when. You know, I really am high on Evan Mobley as far as that fit with that team. And he's that dude. I'm telling you, he's that dude, man. 7 foot, running the floor. And he's 215. You know, he's lanky too. But, you know, last year he played 79 games. See? So he even though he's light in the butt, he proved. Sometimes you get some wiry dudes that can play. You know, that's Evan Mobley. That's really the team that concerns me. Cleveland, honestly. I'm not concerned with Milwaukee. I don't give a crap about Boston. I'm not worried about them if I'm the Knicks. I'm not. Okay? The Knicks going to be up for those games. They're going to be ready. You know, Tom Thibodeau coach team is ready for every game. Okay? So they're going to be ready. Philly's going to be a problem. Yep, because they Philly and they got continuity. But it's Cleveland. Watch Cleveland. Okay? The weakness, of course, defensively, the Knicks can exploit. And if they add more Q-Dog into the offense, that's going to help. But they're going to be the problem. So, coming into this season, Jrue Holiday's on Boston. Okay. They lost Marcus Smart, their heart and soul defensive player. And they lost Robert Williams III. RW3 could play some defense, man. And then you lose the 6th man of the year. And you expect, and I'm not saying Peyton Pritchard's no scrub, but come on now. Come on now. Boy, I can play a little bit, Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, he can. But he ain't Robert Brogdon, Malcolm Brogdon. No, he's not. So, I'm excited about this season. I'm excited about the prospects for our New York Knicks. I'm expecting the minimum of top 5 in the East, 50 wins. They could definitely go better than that. I'm going to just let it ride, though, and see what happens. All them people, you know, whining about this team got better and this didn't get better are stupid, because the Knicks did get better just by virtue of them having continuity. Y'all enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the season. Now the training camp is beginning. Got media day. It's going to be all good. Shalom, New York Knicks Nation. Shalom.